I think that the artistic residency per se, like for itself, it always exists in the creative process. So meaning that it's we look for the artistic residency as the space and the time we have available to create. And all the conditions the artists have to make the creative work. And the creative work, it's the basis of all the art. So without that, there's nothing more. In this way, we can look for these topics, the space and the time, from very different perspectives. Talking from the performing arts point of view, it's always important for us to have the specific venues for us to make the rehearsals, to make the creative process, and these venues, they are part of the. They contribute directly for the object, for the final object, or for the final performance. So it's very different if we have an artistic residency in a venue where we have like a stage and lights to work on, from a venue where we are, for example, outdoors. So the movement of the creativity, it's totally different. But still, it's but still is indispensable for the creative process to have a venue to create. And the other topic is the time, because for the creative process we need time to do it, and time means that the artist or the collective or whatever, let's be specific in talking about the artist dedicates his time for the object he's creating, and because we live in a time, in a period, in an era where time is very few and it's always running away from us, all the structures and institutions that give time for the artists to create, they are very precious. For any period or any stage of the artist, I mean emerging artists or even established artists, the time, it's very important. And there's many reasons, but I think the main reason why the time is important, it's because the the art panorama, it's a very it's very poor. It's very we artists, we work in a precarity, in a huge precarity, meaning that we use the time not just for creating. We use our time to create the objects we are doing now. We use the time to produce the future projects we have in mind. We have the time to we use the time to make applications, to run for fundings, to look for financial support. So it's very easy to become a huge mess. So the artistic residency, it enters in here as an important piece for the creative process and for the quality of the artistic objects that we are doing, because it gives us the opportunity and the structure to dedicate time just for the creative process of a specific object. And for us, this is just, I suppose, the general overview about the artistic residencies. Being more specific now, with Terceira Pessoa, in the Terceira Pessoa context, I can say that we have now two sides. One side that it's related with our own production, with our own objects, and as I told you, it's very important for us as Terceira Pessoa to be associated with other structures that could give us the venues and the time for us to work in a specific project, and it can vary on the period of time. It can vary on the logistics or the venues and that we need, and then we have also to correlate the availability or the conditions of the venue and the time with the creative process, with the production of the creative process, meaning that if we are in the final stage of a theater performance, for example, of the creation of the theater performance, the needs for our residency are more specific and related with stage. So the residency mostly is looked from the point of view of the stage and the set design and the light design and the actors or the dancers, and the relation of the performance with the venue. In the beginning, for example, it's much more important for us to have the time to think about it, and probably the stage and I would say, yeah, all that apparatus are a little less important in the early stages of the projects. So I think it's obvious why this is so important for a structure as Terceira Pessoa. On the other hand, we work with artists that came to Castelo Branco in different contexts, for example, programming, because we host a festival that is called Singular. And in this festival, we have at least one artist that is invited to be in residency with us to create a piece that is showed or premiered in Singular. this means that we offer, it's the other side of the coin. So we offer the time and the logistics and in the venue that it's needed for the artist to work on. We have another specific issue that it's related with the I would say accommodation. Accommodation, it's also very important for the artists that are not from Castelo Branco. I'm talking about Terceira Pessoa.
We have 50 artists working permanently, and because we have two types of artistic residency. We have, I mean, three. It's three. So we have the most important to us. It's directed to the local artists, where our aim is to fix them in our city, so they don't have to go to somewhere else to find a place to work with proper conditions. So we have ceramists, sculptor, musicians, visual artists, video artists, plastic artists. So as I said, we are 50 working permanently in the space and using permanently the space. And for us, the artistic residents, it's more important the process than the result, because we are a laboratory, and it's our name, you know. Most of the times the error, it's the it's the result. Of course, there are some, most of the time the things goes to go, I mean, of course, most of the time the artist put they work out, and most of the times the things go well, but there are some times that they don't, and the error makes part of the work. And one particular thing about working in this such a specific space, it's that you can work in a bubble, in your cell, but you can contact with other people that have the same questions that you have, that have the same issues that you have. So that environment, it's good for the process, because most of the time the artists are working on their own way, on their own cells, and uh, the dichotomy versus prison reclusion uh, versus liberty, creativity, it's one of the things that motivates the artists to put their work out. Um, so this is the main focus in our perspective for the residents for the long term, which we call the annual project, because we have that three types that I mentioned. So this, it's long term, it's directed to the local artists that we have in the city and around. And we have another type of residents, which are the short-term residencies, which are directed to all of the other artists. And that artistic residencies can go until 3 months, or then the artist can renew it. And it's the same as Oscar mentioned for Terceira Pessoa. Sometimes they come to work and to think and to reflect about their work. And sometimes there are an exhibition or a concert or a conference as a result of that artistic residency, and sometimes don't. Sometimes they just want to come here to research. We have a team that can, as well, for all the artists, we have a team, a permanent team that can support the artists logistically, technically, and to promote them, our communication and design team. So we we have set up a strategy and a process that allowed us to continue to develop this artistic residency for long term and short term period. And we have the other type where we invite because the other two we select, and we have others that we directly invite, especially for two international projects that we developed uh, annually. One, it's the Art Turb, which is related with the urban art project, and the other it's Roots, where we developed, it's a contemporary project regarding the contemporary issues. So the classic and modern slavery, equality, gender, environment. So we discuss on that project all of these statements, and we have as well. So uh, the accommodation, which is a very important, as Oscar mentioned, which is a very important support for the artistic residency. We have a house where we can host the artists until 5 or 6 artists at the same time, and we have as well a partnership with the military hotel who can host dozens of artists. So, fortunately, our main partner, it's the local municipality that has fortunately understood the importance of having art circuits on the city and have artists coming in here working for a short period of time or long period of time, and they support us in all of all of the logistics, of course, because the house, the place that we manage, it's the building that we manage is propriety of the city hall. The house that we have, it's property of the city hall. So it's a very important to have the local politicians in your side, to have your I mean, to believe in your way that you work and to believe in your way that you do the things. And of course, it was impossible to run of run all this structure and have a permanent team without the government support. We are financed by the cultural ministry, and without that, it will be impossible to assure all of that of this logistic. The accommodation, the materials, the equipment, everything that makes part of the artistic residencies. And I don't know if you have other questions or uh, I think as well regarding the questions that you send. Um, the artistic residents are a very good way so the emergent artists can work and can start their career. That's one of our main objectives, to have this this artistic residency going all over through the year. So the idea is to put in on dialogue and questioning emergent artists together with international artists that have other circulation in order to exchange the ideas, exchange techniques, exchange ideas. I mean, it's a total exchange of this work because they all are here in this. They are all working in the same place, so the contact, the dialogue, it's a natural things that if they don't, for example, if one artist come in the first day and don't know anyone, uh, I mean, it's natural to question other artists that are in the space, and that dialogue comes up naturally. Of course, that we promote as well some moments with all the artists that are available or that can be part of it, or that identifies with this or with that artists, and we promote as well that dialogue, and through some moments, some barbecues, some venues, some concerts, some conferences, and so on and so on.
I think it's very important for community and politicians to understand that the results, they always happen, but they happen in different times and in different forms. Saying that if we are hosting or like using Nuno's speech, if Nuno is hosting an artist, the result of the residency could be expressed in other city in a different in a different form. It could be a performance, for example, in other city. What is important for the community and for the politicians to understand is that the performance that it's happening now in Porto, let's say, it is only possible because it was hosted in Lagos. I would say I'm using Nuno's speech, or for us in here in Castelo Branco. It's very important to make the political involvement in this topic, because as Nuno was saying, and I really would like to highlight this, is that the artistic residencies, like these big hubs of creativity, they create a circuit, a movement, and this movement, it's very important for the community. And it's very important for the people that live in the city or in the surroundings, because when an artist is creating, it could be it could be a creative process in his own bubble, of course, as Nuno was saying, yes, but still there is a movement of artists that come and that are probably not creating in their own bubble, and they need to create thoughts and reflections and inspirations and all kinds of engagement. As people, it's kind of a overused term, the engage the audience, engage the locals. And this is only possible if, again, we create the conditions for the artists for them to be free. Actually, it's for them to be free, because sometimes I understand that even the artistic residency, the idea of artistic residency, it becomes so institutionalized that sometimes it's so difficult for us to justify why we need this time and this venue, why and it's so it becomes so bureaucratical and so again institutionalized that that it put us away of a flow, of a streaming, of a movement. So spaces like Nuno was saying, that it doesn't matter if it is 1 week or 3 months. It doesn't matter the stage of the creative process. It doesn't matter the result. These are only this gives only the potential for the artists to be free to create, and the engagement and the involvement they come very naturally. It's very organic for the artists to be involved with the people, and the more involvement it 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 is, the less explanations we need to give for people, for the locals, for politicians, for whatever, because it becomes very obvious for everybody. It's a different for the artistic point of view, for the artist point of view, which is my point of view, because we are not artistic residency institution or whatever. So for us, we like to. It's important for us to speak the language of the fundings, yes, and to speak the language of the institutions that are receiving us in artistic residency. What I was saying is that sometimes for the artists to find conditions for the artistic residency, this sometimes it's so difficult that it's more or less like I'm asking for public funding. And I know that the structures like LAC, they have their own goals, they have their own objectives, their own way of working with the community, and of course it's important for us to find synergies and to find and to create relationships. Of course, it's very important. I was saying is that the artistic residency, when sometimes because of the goals that the institutions need to accomplish, and they need to reply to government issues, to local issues, and sometimes for the artist it's frightening again. It's like asking for public funding, and it becomes like a huge monster again. So I prefer not to do that, and I'm going to the gardens and
artists in residencies in schools. That's the proposition we made, and I have to tell you that one of the measures, one of the projects that we create that I'm most proud of, and now, for instance, this year we have more or less more than 200 artists in residency all over the country in different schools, different group of schools, and it's very. And it's not only the National Plan for the Arts that is saying this. It's the directors of schools, the teachers, and other programs that support us. That this artist residency program is changing really the schools, the way kids and teachers are in those schools. Just to illustrate with an image what we wanted with this presence of an artist. It's an artist that's not in school as a teacher. Sometimes the directors don't understand really well the project, and they put the artists giving some classes. It's not ideal. It's completely like in any other community or any other place, like a museum or a cultural center, is being an artist in that community. And trying to find the answer to the questions that the community ask, or giving to that community. That sometimes can be with the workers in school, working with them, sometimes with teachers, sometimes with the students, sometimes with the environment, really the place. These 200, in each case, is different in each school. It's very interesting that, because it's not something that arrives. It's not the artists don't arrive to the school with a project already done. Think, or with a proposition that we made to the artist. No, it's something that he creates. The relation between the artist and the school is something that is during the year, and the proposition is for a year, or at least 3 months, 4 months. It's not going 1 week to the school. It's not. It is really something that takes time, and that's really necessary. Not only these 1 week projects, workshops, or something like that, but really being there for a while. And I was telling you, to illustrate, I always give this image. I don't know if you know a film by Pasolini named Teorema. And this film, in this film, there's a family from bourgeoisie, Italian bourgeoisie, very, very rich, that receives one day one telegram. They were at the table in their beautiful house. The father, the mother, the 2 kids, the maid, they were there, and they receive a telegram delivered by an angelo, and the telegram says that I will arrive tomorrow. Arrivo domani. And next day is there a stranger that stays there, like is part of the family, but it's not really from that family, and he will change the life of each of the elements of that family. And as one day he arrives, he always also says, tomorrow I will leave. And he left the family. He leaves the family with a lot of questions, a lot of problems, a lot of difference from the beginning. For us, the idea of it's like a foreign guest. The artist there is like a foreign guest, and we wanted that the artists in the schools are like foreign guests that change, and one day he leaves. But after leaving, he don't leave the things the same. From the city councils, some of the city councils in Portugal are also financing this project, usually for smaller periods, 3-4 months. For instance, in Algarve, a lot of the artists in residency in Algarve are, and you were talking about Lagos, in Algarve are financed by the city councils, and there are more or less 60 artists in residency financed by the city councils, and there are other players that are helping us putting some artists. For instance, Ibero-American organization pays one artist in residency. There are some projects financed by DG Art from the government and other. For instance, we have a project with Dona Maria National Theatre here that also creates these residencies in schools, and this is and we have been the last weeks meeting with these artists to know better what they are doing in those schools, in their schools, and it has, I have to tell you, these weeks have been very, very rich to understand what they are doing and what they can do inside schools. Sometimes with the help of other institutions outside the school, creating bridges between the school and the community, and it's very exciting to see what it's happening all over the country. For me, the most important, of course, is, and that's what it was asked for this plan, is the relation between the youngsters, the kids, the teachers, with the artistic process and with the artists, and how this artistic process can change pedagogies, how the artistic propositions can give pleasure to a school that usually is thinking as something difficult or with esforço. We need that also in school. We need schools that has this relation with arts and heritage because of the pleasure that can come from that, and the possibility of opening the horizons to these, not only the students but the teachers, change the way school is, and artistic process can do that, and we are seeing that with these artistic residencies. Also, the importance of time. We need this with more time. More times, it means that it's not something that I'm going there for 1 week and then I leave. It's not. It's necessary to listen what the school needs, what the teachers, what the students, what the help needs, and try to think with them, not for them, what to do. And it's. I think it's really the importance of this project, transformative learning, co-learning, I would say, and that changed the way we are at school. It's really the importance of this project.
So yes, here we are in an Erasmus project. Here are our friends and partners from Porto, Portugal, and from
Hello,
Italy.
Portugal,
Here,
Italy.
Here is Anna.
Hello.
Here is Claudia. Here is Griselda. Here is Rosie.
Hello.
And that's Ricardo. And you know Markside.
Yes, yes. At the back seats.
We would like to ask you some questions. This was your first residency.
That was my first. Many years I wanted, but it never happened. So I was very happy for this participation.
Did the residency meet your expectations? What you were expecting?
It's good that actually what it was very important for me is that it opened me up. That was very important. I had expectations for myself of productivity, but productivity wasn't the issue. Productivity for me, it means to create a lot of pictures, and it means to have everything under control. And it didn't happen that much, which is very good for me personally as a character, as an artist. That means that I was feeling more free, a bit more like a child in a way, to experiment, to live a little, to laugh, and of course, in an environment that is an artistic environment. So it wasn't just I don't know, you went in a random place with random people. It was all of us who were photographers, who were having the same agonies, the same, the same tool we use in a different way. But it was very beneficial for me just to coexist, being in a place that I do not know, with people that I do not know, having discussions that I haven't prepared, and all this, like that's the overall experience. Also to see that, because in order to create, to produce something, you need days, even weeks, to understand where you are and to understand what you want to do. So that was a very sweet process, with less pictures produced, but very well overall, as an overall life experience. So I don't know what my expectations were, that I was going to make a lot of photos. I didn't make so much photos, but there it was very important time for my creativity, and this is following me. It has like an after effect, and I will continue the project for Ithaca. We have the contact with the curators, with you, the artists. So it's all the things together, connected.
So what is it for you, the residency? What does it mean for you?
So in my experience, what I've done so far, I think for me it's more a period of experimentation and exploration of new methodologies and ways of creation, rather than produce like a concrete body of work. So it's more like open the horizons and like exploring a new way of creating that sometimes is difficult when you are on your own context. So the residency somehow gives a space where you get out of your comfort zone and you experiment with another ways of doing. So even though I work mainly with photography, in the residencies, I explore like photography with a sculpture or video or another kind of medium. So I had the space and the freedom to do that. And it's also interesting to get inspired by a new context, like cultural and social and geographically context is always super inspiring to feed yourself also artistically with this new context.
So why is it so important? So you say that you develop your work through artistic residencies, yes?
Yeah.
And how is that? How is that? And what experience do you have with residencies?
Most of my experience is with one particular residency in Morocco, which I started 5 years ago. And at this time, I was really working just with photography and in a French way. we are really in France, we are a bit intellectual and with some boxes. So if you are doing documentary, you have to do this kind of photography. If you are doing more artistic photography, you have to do this kind of things. And when I arrived in this residency in Morocco, I was the only one photographer, and we were 10 during 1 month with artists from, most of them, they came from Africa, but they were all doing other art. They were painters, sculptors, a lot of different things. And to see them work and to share with them, I realized that I think that I had that before, but I didn't have the courage or to pass the development for my practice. But they were like really more sensitive or more how do you say that? Instinctive than intellectual. So the person who was the director of the residency were really open to everything. So I could try new things in my practice, and without the fact to be judged. It was really, and from this point, I really try other mediums, and I try painters, and I try to work inside my pictures. So this was really important in my last 5 years of work.
We invite 10 photographers from all over the world, and they have to work on this theme. And the symbol of Ithaca, what does Ithaca symbolize? Symbol of the return. And of course, from all the meanings that emerge from Odyssey, and not only from the characters, but from different scenes of Odyssey and themes like to be connected with social problems, environmental problems, which they can influence from this point and produce a body of work with a very, very critical, let's say, and contemporary way. Problems that we have everybody in our in the world today. So another thing we are doing, we invite also very renewed curators especially from Europe, in order to work and to have review sessions with photographers. We are doing these review sessions. We organized this, especially the first days of the residency and almost in the middle end of their stay, in order to work with them and to provide for them if everyone wants to give them some help, and if they may need something in order to help them. And of course, we discuss about their work. And finally, after 8 months, they can start it from here, their work, and they can produce the work in their countries when they are turning back to their country. So, and then if we are able, we can do an exhibition. Actually, last year we did an exhibition in Athens, and the previous year we did exhibition in Athens and in Vienna, where some Austrian photographers were invited.
But I think like at least 20 days, I think should be like the minimum, or 3 weeks, something like that. Because like 1 week is like you just getting first contact, you start to understand the new context, and to really engage in all levels with the context, I think you need like 1 month at least. Otherwise, I think it's a really short amount of time. I've never done less than 3 weeks. But always 3 weeks doesn't sound much. When it arrives the moment that I need to leave, it's like, okay, I could stay here longer and it will be even better. So it's not like after 3 weeks I said, okay, this was too much. In photography, like, of course, there are reporters. They go 2 days, they take nice pictures, and the pictures are in the news. But this is not like really conceptually rich. It's just like a visualization of a moment that took place in 2 days. But I think if you want to create a body of work that implies research and conceptually more rich, you need more time.
1 week, you just see where you are, like it's passing with no, you don't know where you are, like you are jet lagged in a way. 2 weeks, you start feeling, all right, I know what I'm doing. 3rd week, you start going to produce. So I was going to say minimum 2 weeks, minimum, till a month, till 4 weeks, the amount of residency. But not 1 week, not 1 week. A month or a month and or less than a month somehow.
I think depends of your practice, but I think that 1 month it's the best. But it's a long time because the people have to be free during 1 month, and the place who invites the people, 1 month it's long. But for me, it's the minimum is if it's another country and if you are doing a project, to not just arrive with your own idea and put your idea on a place. You need time to understand where you are and another culture, another community. So for me, it's a minimum, like 1 month. And even it's not, you will never know a new place in 1 month. But at the minimum, you have a bit time to start a project and to understand a new place.
Claudia says here that they have 2 months.
2 months.
Yes, we have funding from we have
Hello.
from the municipality and to do a residency for 2 months.
Okay, sounds good. I don't know with the obligations that each one has, families, jobs, and this, if it's or in what age category you are addressing this residency. Is it for art students that are 23 years old and they can go for 2 months to I don't know where? Because I found it a bit difficult. It sounds ideal. It sounds ideal, like it's a long time that you will seriously create something. I just have a bit of a reservation that not a lot of people will be able. I'm in my mid-career, middle age, and middle class. So you have to navigate in your life in order to find 2 full months for your art, which is great because you will go, you will write, you will produce, you will think.
We have time to know.
Yeah.
Time to be in the right place and to have the trick.
I used to write a lot. I used to be like I have written a novel, fairy tale. I used to write a lot. As a writer, I was going to need at least 1 month more because you need more peace. You need the time, the things to settle. As a photographer, I see it a bit. It's a faster approach, and theoretically, I'm more productive, so I can make pictures in 1 month. A lot. Of course, it's not the quantity because a lot of things then you will just drop away. But yeah, where is this 2 months to apply?
We don't have an open call. It's for invitation, and yes, it's difficult to find artists who have are available for 2 months.
Yeah.
But
Not
all the artists
impossible.
we have, not impossible, but yes, it's not easy. And the artists we already have with us have all a pleasant 40 years.
Okay.
They are not
Okay.
young.
Is it is it funded or is it it's funded? So this it creates a bit of a small safety net that you say, okay, the artist goes there,
Yes.
has at least some things covered. So yeah.
Cover everything except the materials the artists use. We have
Okay,
accommodation, bills, travel expenses, and a fee for the work. And in the end, it does not have to the artist does not have to present a final piece. In our case, we work mostly with performing arts. It just has to do an open rehearsal to share the result of his research.
Even though I think like the process should be like the main aspect of the residency, I think it's important to keep in mind like a concrete output. So then it doesn't get like the whole residency in the air. And sometimes, even though like there is no, like, for example, like I've done some residency and there was no exhibition or anything, but I used this body of work for another thing. So, for example, I did a residency and then I used this material to create a book with another institution of somewhere else. Or from other, I just transform it and use it for another exhibition. I think to have a concrete outcome at the end of the journey of the residency is always important. Or then just, even though if it's research, so just try to read, to write, to keep like, to make an outcome, concrete outcome as a research. Otherwise, after 1 month, you come back home and then you don't have nothing in your hands. I think it's important to think of a concrete outcome, but it doesn't need to be a body of work. Could be just like a research or or just one image or the first pages of a grant application. I don't know, like, but use this time to have something concrete. It doesn't need to be a body of work.
Really, I think that it's really an important thing to do residencies with artists, because we are really, most of the time in our practice, we are alone. And not alone because we share with other people. If you are working on a project, you meet people and you meet people of the community. But we are alone in the work, no? And we don't have so much. If you have friends who are doing the same thing, you can share, but we don't have so much opportunities to share. And I think that it's really really important for a career of artists to do residencies. And it's not really about the financial part, because we have, for example, in France, we have residencies that are paid. So you get paid during 1 month, but most of the time you are alone for doing a project. And I think that, for example, the residency that we made, like we were not paid, but all the things that you could have during those 3 weeks, sharing with other people, were really important, and more important than the fact to be paid with the program. I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but I think that it's really, really nice. And it's a nice way to share with countries too, because it's opening new opportunities to show the work or to meet other artists from other parts. And we don't have a lot of opportunity. We know a lot of artists on the social media and internet, but to meet in real person the people, it's not so easy. So it's a really nice thing.
practically, practically, if I have a room on my own, I was going to be very happy. Practically, so I was going to be happy to be having my own space to rest and write and think. But I would like to, while opening this door, to be meeting, to have a communal room, a communal space that we can all meet. So not alone, alone just privately, but to share our experiences, our thoughts.
Because I don't know, it's like with the academic processes, sometimes like the most important moments and like more inspiring and influential of your career is the conversations you have with your peers rather than with your teachers. So I think like, and especially for example, now with the residency we've done with Fotini, I think the conversation we have between us were really important and inspirational and enriching. So I prefer to be in a group, in a group kind of setting. But some artists probably need more introspective space or whatever. But I think like groups are more, and also like being a group spans like not only the network, but also the possibilities of future collaboration. After meeting Fotini, I'm here meeting you and expanding like my network, and probably there will be future opportunities to work with Fotini. If I would be on my own in Ithaca, probably I wouldn't have the chance to meet like local artists. No?
And it was really important because it was in another country, and this developed my network. So after that, I could have exhibitions or I could have application for the program in other countries because I knew other artists who told me, like the residency that we made together, who told me, oh, you don't know this program in Senegal or you don't know this program in Cameroon, you can have an application. And I really didn't know those programs, but sharing with the others, it could help me to develop and to show my work in other parts and to develop my practice.
Well, I think one of the key aspects of, for me, the most important thing of the doing a residency is that creates like a network of like constant feedback with the peers and curators, organizations. So for me, it's like I prefer this kind of processes where you have constantly conversations and dialogues with the people involved than rather be on my own. I think this is what, if you don't want to get in contact with the locals, why are you moving? You could continue doing your work in your house, no? So I think the whole point of doing a residency is exchange, and maybe being in a different context gives like an opportunity to exchange ideas, not only with artists, but with the community.
So that's it. I mean, I cannot. I mean, everybody knows all the benefits that the residencies have. To meet with you, to be actually to have a time and space to work outside your normal lives. And of course, the most important also thing is to be together, to have a communal, because we are working as a community here. And of course, to meet with new peers, new tutors, new people, new mentors from all over the world.
So based on my own work, and since my work is research-based, for me it's important to get in contact with the community because it is part of the research, to talk to people, to meet like the whole community, like from, I don't know, since I'm more into this nature, from farmers or cookers or historian or visiting the archives, the libraries. So meeting like this local community is essential part of the development of my own work. So also like being in a residency has to have this component. I guess like other kind of works doesn't need that. But in case, like during the process, they don't need this community, there are other ways of getting involved with the community. It can be like artists who just share their work with the locals, like as we did in Ithaca. So people that probably they are not so connected to art, but they have the chance to get to know like the work of different photographers for all around the world, or through local workshops, like workshops with locals, with local community. So I think somehow it's an opportunity to get new audiences. So now my work has reached a new audience in Ithaca and in Greece in general. And I think this was through the activities we did with the locals. Because in the residency we have done in Greece, we every night, for a few nights, we had like, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes.
We had like different sessions with local people where we just introduce our work. And I think like this, creates like a great value, not only for the locals, but for the artists.
But I think first days they are a little bit confused, let's say, because they don't know exactly the island. I think first of all, they seek to capture the feel of the island. What the island gives them, the energy of the island. And then, of course, through this, of course, because they are living together and they try to be together because they don't know each other. And of course, also they are looking to have their own connections with the other participants. And then I think with the first meeting that we have this review session with the curators, I think they start looking to combine, let's say, their previous also work. I mean, the work they have already in their mind to do with this theme, with this subject. And I think everybody tries to find this connection between his work and the work we are asking from them. That's why they apply. They apply in this residency because they want to match their work with this thing. They want because we give every year we give also a title. But it's working on myth. It's work on myth.
I think different thing. It's always in residency in other countries, because you can do a residency in your own country, but in other countries, it's really it's a way to know a new place, a new culture, and it's always helpful to be with other people who know the country, so it's easier for you. But and there is different kinds of residencies. Some of them you are with other people, and for me that is the most interesting residencies, because this is a big part of residency. I think if the residency is really nice, it's good, but to share with other person in your own practice or in other practice, it's really the best of the residencies, I think.
Yeah, so in order to choose a place or to apply for a residency, I think, at least in my opinion and my experience, it's very useful to look for either geographically places that are connected to your theme or what you are interested in your practice, or also like conceptually is connected to what you are doing. So in a sense, for example, I'm especially interested in my practice in the connection between identity and nature. So usually I choose places that somehow I can develop a part of my practice. So it's not that I'm going to go to a city and, I don't know, make a project about architecture, because it doesn't make sense for me. So I think you need to carefully look for places that are connecting either geographically or conceptually and thematically with your practice. So then it will be another piece in the whole puzzle that means your creative work. So in this case, in Ithaca, for example, was something in the rural context and also photography based. So for me, like, and then I took it into my territory, and then I chose like the olive because it's something that connects to my practice, like identity and nature, how they are influenced. So I think it's important for artists to use this period also to grow in their own practices.
I think that it's really important to be paid, because it's like all the artwork, no? You passed 1 month outside, you still have to pay your rent in your place. It's not easy to go 1 month outside. So when the place can pay, I think that it's really important, because it's like a recognition of the work of the artist. But when you cannot, when you don't have, I think that maybe you can find other things that the artist can get, even if it's not financial. For example, the fact that to be with other people, or to really include the artist in the community, to help him. And this can be really interesting. But that's right, that in the best world, we could be paid for residency, because it's work actually. And we need to pay our daily life.
The main problem is like the funds, because many of the residencies are either you have to pay yourself or you have to find funding by yourself. And I think for me, this is like the biggest struggle. I always have, half of the residency have been funded by the organizations and half by me. But I think like what I would suggest for the organization is, first of all, in terms of funding, try to give tools if they don't have their own budget, try to give tools to the residents so that they can look for the budgets themselves. So like help themselves in these terms. And I think also like help residency in create more community engagement. So like you are going to a place, and then like because they know the context, so help residency to get in contact with the local people and organize activities. So it's not like you will be doing the same thing, but in another context. So I think it's important that the organization somehow is like a medium between the artist and the context.
I don't know. In France, most of the residencies now are paid, because they want to do that with the government, and they are fighting for that. I made a residency one time, paid here, and it was like private financial approach. So I could feel something that I couldn't do exactly what I wanted, because it was like, I don't know to say that the companies who build the buildings paid the residency, and we have to work on a place where they were making a new buildings, and it was not good, because people were not agree with that. But we couldn't do exactly a project about the people, because it was paid by the companies. So this was difficult. But most of the time, even if you are paid, you can do what you want, and it's important to say it. Like it's free. You can do what you want. I don't know.
And of course, all these years, we started with very few money from the municipality of Ithaca, but now we have money from the municipality of Ithaca, the periphery of the Ionian Islands, and the Municipal Association of the Ionian Islands. And we have three from around Ionian. And of course, we have some private sponsors. We are not a non-profit organization, and we will try next year to get some money also from European Union, from Creative Europe and from our Ministry of Culture. Every year we have some more money every year. So that means that we can do the best we can, and they believe to us to give this money.